What's up, YouTube? For today's video, with a full mono normal type Pokemon team. So many years ago, I did do quite a few of the mono types. I think I may have done all of them. And I thought it'd be a fun revamp to look at all the types again, or maybe consider a series. Animalia, this one is for you. I'm going to be doing some normal type Pokemon. So what I did is I picked out 6 random mono normal type Pokemon and I put them onto one team. So what mono means, they're the only type there. So for example, Regigigas is only a normal type Pokemon. Would you like to see a full mono series? Let me know in the comments. Tell me what your favorite normal type Pokemon is of all time. Let me know below. I'd really like to see which one's the most popular. First battle here we have, this was a crazy battle. Watch this first turn, right? So this is a Sticky Barb Trick Arceus, only on PIMPNITE channel. We have a Gyarados holding a Mirror Herb. So I gave the Gyarados my Sticky Barb. Gyarados uses Dragon Dance, and then I copy the Gyarados' Dragon Dance from the Mirror Herb that I just got. Only on PIMPNITE channel, people. That was absolute fire. So, you know, the salt levels were probably starting to build a little bit there, especially with that Sticky Barb damage. So, this is the PIMPNITE Special Arceus set. We got that Body Slam, Confuse Ray Arceus with Trick and Sticky Barb. So, the idea was to give them the Sticky Barb, paralyze them with a Body Slam. I generally didn't expect to get any attack boost or anything from Dragon Dance. Paralyze them with a Body Slam, confuse them with Confuse Ray, and then use Phantom Force, so like you just disappear in case you do take any damage. And then they get hit by Sticky Barb, Confusion, and get paralyzed. So it's full of salt, right? So this Gyarados is going to be going for another Dragon Dance. Obviously wasn't very happy that their first one got copied, and they got a lucky flinch there. However, since I did a fair bit of damage to them with the Sticky Barb, the Sticky Barb is actually going to is going to faint in the next turn. So Arceus is down, and so is the Gyarados. This is the random battle as well on the Pokeball. So they got a Moxie ready. It's got their Moxie, and then Sticky Barb actually faints. So that is some pure salt. But the salt does not stop there. Alright, so the next Pokemon I've got in this team is more salt. Now, that Regigigas, if you are curious, was, sorry, not Regigigas, Arceus was max health and max speed, jolly nature. I didn't even have any attack EVs. So in comes Giflor. I don't know, I'm not sure what some of these nicknames are. If anyone can pick up on it, let me know in the comments. I always love to hear your feedback and stuff. So I had a feeling they go for Toxic or a status move. In this case, they went for a Strength Sap. Now, this is the true PIMPNITE Special Morsold Special Echoed Voice set with Cheek Pouch. It's a banger of a set, but it does take a bit of setup. So we've got a Corviknight coming in, which is a good swap in for Morsold in general, and this is my Echoed Voice set. So the idea here is to keep using Echoed Voice over and over again, and it builds in power. So Corviknight is going to be able to live these attacks very, very easily here, which is bad because there's not a lot I can do. So Corviknight is going to be setting up the bulk ups here. So I'm thinking, all right, it's going to be a bulk up body press set or a power trips, one of those sort of strategies, right? You normally see on the Corviknight, and it's probably going to have Roost as well. Now, this Morsold is max special attack and max speed timid nature. We've got Potato Berry as the item and Cheek Pouch as the ability. Copycat, Mud Slap, and Substitute. So I'm starting to build some power, right, with this little mouse, right? And I got a critical hit there. So now they're going to go for Roost. Now, one of the worst things you can do against a Pokemon that's using Echoed Voice is Roost, because if they're still building up the power of their move, it's bad. So I thought, gee, I've got a really good chance here to possibly be able to take this Corviknight out. I'll go for Terra Normal. Also, on this mono team, I did Terra Normal for every one of them too. So I wasn't allowed to use any other Terras besides normal, which added to the challenge too, which I felt was, appropriate for this team. So we got the sub there, trying to get the dub. So with the Echoed Voice, basically, if you keep using it consecutively, it gets more powerful, more powerful. As you can see, even though it's not very effective, it's doing very, very good damage. So they're really trying to Roost stall me out here with the Corviknight, but I've got so many boosts up at the moment, it's crazy. So I'm getting pretty close to like my maximum Echoed Voice boost here. and they're going to swap out the Kottmeistern, and they're going to go into Clefable. So the thing about Clefable, and I'm assuming they've got Unaware on this set, Unaware is good for like stat boost, but Unaware doesn't ignore the base power of a move increasing. So that just got rolled out like a lounger and rug. Maybe the crit mattered, but it would have done like heaps of damage anyway. In comes Rhyhorny? I don't know. This is the PG video, all right? And we got that Rhyperior coming out, and I was thinking, well, Rhyperior is still going to get hit reasonably hard by this because its special defense isn't all that good. So they've got that Terra Steel there, which is a good play here to try and get around the Morsold. But look at the damage that it did. That was crazy damage, right? So I've got the sub for protection. Here comes the Iron Head, which I'd say that would have one-shotted me at this range because Morsold, you wouldn't call it a really bulky poker, right? So that is the end of the substitute, which is all good. So now I can finish off the Rhyperior easily, right? It's also got leftovers, but that's not going to matter. I did like 3/4 of its health there. So I've got plenty of Echoed Voice left. It's got a good amount of PP. You need to make sure you've got a good amount of PP, right? Someone's going to quote that in the comment section. So that's the end of the Rhyperior. So that's a big counter gone. So they're starting to run out of Pokemon to swap into this, like, nice. So the next Pokemon... that's the Kottmeistern. So Kottmeister's got 3/4 of its health left, or close to that, right? So I was thinking, well, I've got Echoed Voice. I'm just going to keep spamming it. If it doesn't faint, then I might be able to live the attack, right? Because they'd have to go for bulk up. Here comes a Drill Peck. I lived that one pretty comfortably, and a bad thing happened for them. They've put me in Pataya Berry range. So Pataya Berry is going to lift my special attack by 1 stage, and Cheek Pouch is going to activate, giving me more health back to, if I ever wanted to use a substitute. At this stage, I didn't want to, but the thing that's cool about it is you're not weak to like a priority move that might do a little bit of damage to you. Like, it puts you on a decent chunk of health there, so someone can't come in and go, oh, quick attack and, finish you. This is the true PIMPNITE Morsold set. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. So next Pokemon is Electros. What's that called? Zappel. I don't know if this is a different language. Zaplarang. I have no idea. Anyway, that's the end of the old Durex Triple L. And last Pokemon is going to be the Vileplume. We have got a special Morsold sweep only on PIMPNITE's channel here. And we got that green Vileplume. So I'm going to go for that Echoed Voice and finish it. The cool thing about this set too, it's immune to Sucker Punch Pokemon and stuff like that, because you can just go Copycat, which is a nice way to get around it as well. And that's the end of the battle. A sweep to start things off with. Unfortunately, I didn't faint the Gyarados because it died to Sticky Barb. But what a crazy battle then. That was a pretty meta team as well. So just shows you, some of those fun sets can be pretty scary. Also, and shout out to the opponent as well for not just rage quitting. At least they stuck it out to the end. Lots of people would have rage quit like a baby there. All right, next battle, we got another round of one here. We got a Dankrai lead. So I thought this is a prime time to give my Sticky Barb away. I love Sticky Barb. It's such a fun item. So, if you don't know what Sticky Barb does, I know obviously it does damage, right? So the mechanics of Sticky Barb are interesting, right? So say if you're facing an opponent that's not holding an item, in this case, or you trick it to them, you can give them the item. But if, say for example, they've got a Sticky Barb and you eat a berry, right, or a consumable item, if they use a contacting move against you, that Sticky Barb will then stick to you, right? And then you'll have the Sticky Barb. So it's an item that can get passed around a lot, which is kind of interesting. But obviously if you've got an item, it doesn't like get rid of your item and stuff like that. You have to have no item. So that's sort of the mechanics behind Sticky Barb. It's kind of interesting. So anyway, I'm taking some Sticky Barb damage here. It's getting passed back and forward. What I tried to do in some cases, I tried to get the Sticky Barb on them, do some damage, and then I'd quickly trick it away at the end so I could, trick it to the next Pokemon and stuff like that. So Darkrai is down. In comes Homeboy Groudon. We've got a legendary spam team here. Now, I have no chance of taking Groudon out, especially with no attack EVs. That's the thing with Arceus too. I know that Arceus is a super powerful Pokemon, so I had to come up with a really crappy set that would be fun to use, and I might be able to, like, annoy the opponents with. So I come up with a beautiful set there. So we got Groudon. It's putting its arms up for that sticky bulb, and now we're going to swap on another Pokemon, the Morsol. So I thought this might be an interesting way to go for Copycat on Eruption, because it's a special Groudon. I thought, ooh, this would be nice. Plus, I versed a lot of people too. They'd use special moves against Morsol, and if they were like, say a Dragon type used a special Dragon type move, I would go for a Copycat and hit them with their move too. And sometimes I get some really big damage and feints like that, which is really cool. This seems to be a mixed Groudon, and it's going to take me out with Impressive Blades. I was hoping it wasn't, but it is what it is, right? So that's the end of Morsol. I mean, special Morsol isn't exactly powerful, right? Needs a fair bit of setup and the right situation. So we're going to bring in the GOAT Regigigas. This is probably one of my, well, this is up there, probably my favorite normal Pokemon. I made a mixed Regigigas set this time to try and bypass that slow start ability. I'll tell you what it is, right? This is max special attack and max speed, naive nature. Silk Scarf as the item. So we got Protect there to stall out slow start. Terra Blast as Terra Blast normal. And I could also use that in, Terra if I wanted to as well. And I had Earth Power for Steel types, and I also had a mix set with Crush Grip. So I could use its signature move there, or once signature move. Regigigas, obviously, other Pokemon learn that move now. So that's the end of Groudon anyway. We've got a Zekrom coming in here. So we have got a Terra too. So this Zekrom hits very hard, and it's quite a bulky Pokemon. So they got them Dragon these nuts. They got that Terra, and I'm thinking this is going to hurt. So I'm going to go for Protect there. We're going to try and stall that slow start a bit more. I was thinking Earth Power would be really good to use against it, but now that it's a Dragon type, it's going to be better that I go for a normal type move. So that is the end of the Sunlight there. We got that Protect. I went for a double Protect, so I thought the mechanics behind Crush Grip are as follows, right? So if you've got more health, basically the more health the target has got left, the more damage it's going to do. So there'll be no point me attacking them with like Terra Blast and then going for Crush Grip, because it's going to do less damage, right? It's better hitting them at full base power. It's like Ring Out, right? Those kind of moves and Hard Press. So anyway, I had a little bit of a hard competition versus this Zekrom because it paralyzed me and then fainted me. So I thought, all right, let's have a look at this Zekrom set. I want to see what it is, right? So we've got to bring Ditto. We've got that Zekrom right now. I have got Terra Normal here too. And look at this moveset. Oh, look, we got Volt Strike, Fusion Volt, Hyper Voice, and Thunder. What is this? So I thought, wait, it's a Terra Normal team, right? I'll go for that Quick Claw, Terra Normal Hyper Voice, right? But they swapped out. They were very scared, right, of all the the Dragon type moves that I had. So now we got the Rayquaza coming in here. This is a random battle against the homeboy Dylan as well. I don't know if you ever see this video. And we got Rayquaza sliding in here. So I went for Terra Normal Hyper Voice, and I thought it should do all right damage. Maybe. I don't know. It sort of depends on the stats of the Zekrom, right? I thought if it all goes south, at least I can go for a Bolt Strike, right? So it really didn't do amazing damage as kind of expected. So then I went for the Bolt Strike. It landed and I took out the Rayquaza, which was good. So Rayquaza was a bit of a scary Pokemon. I had to get rid of that. Next Pokemon here is going to be Necrozma. Just normal Necrozma. The thing's got some pretty good bulk to it. So I thought, I'll just go for Bolt Strike, Good damage there. Really, really good damage. And now they're going to go for Prismatic Laser. That's going to hurt. Ditto is going to get its pink little cheeks absolutely clapped there. But good damage. I took out Rayquaza and nearly took out the Necrozma. Plus, the move Prismatic Laser has a cooldown. It's like Hyper Beam, right? So with my special Persian here, I might be able to get them nasty plots up and see if we can get a swift sweep, right? So this is a Technician Persian. I've used this a lot of times, actually. It's a pretty fun set. I've got Swift Snarl, Nasty Plot, and Hypnosis, and Throat Spray as the item. So I've got max special attack and max speed, Timber Nature. And after a Nasty Plot, it's actually pretty impressive. the amount of damage it does too. And Swift can never miss too, which is cool. So we got Reshiram and Zekrom left. I don't know about these Pokemon because they're quite bulky, and I'm not going to be able to take their, their powerful signature move. So I put the Reshiram to sleep. It closed its peepers, So now what I can do is go for another nasty plot. So I've got +4 in special attack, and with with something like Snarl up, if I went for that, I'd have +5 as well, which I did. So I've got +5 now, and Swift still doesn't take them out. So, that's how bulky these Pokemon are, right? And, it's not like Persian has a thumping special attack stat either. It's like, 65 base? So I know I needed all that boost. So then they swapped out their Reshiram. They couldn't possibly lose their Reshiram. It would be so bad if I lost their legendary, right? Swapped in Zekrom. Zekrom gets absolutely destroyed with one hit. So the Reshiram was a little bit more bulky, and then they salty rage quit it. So Swift Persian only on PIMPNITE Shallow there. We get them dubs, we get them salty rage quits. If you're enjoying the video so far, if you want to support the channel, hit that like button and leave me a comment of your favorite normal type Pokemon. It can be a legendary, it can be whatever. I just want to see, seriously, I really want to know. So please leave a comment below. But I'm going to say mine is Regigigas. I really, really like Regigigas. So you let me know what yours is. I don't know. I'd like to see all the different, your different opinions on what's the best one. All right, next battle here. This one is against Mr. T, and we have a theme team here too, which is pretty cool. So we got a Grumpig team called This Little Piggy. What could this team be based around? So I started with my Morsold here, same sort of setup as last time. Then I noticed the little piggy went for a bounce. I was like, whoa, this is good. Maybe if the mouse bounces, then I can dodge the bounce, and I might even be able to get a paralyzed. So the animation of substitute, going away, and it's like, I don't know, the game didn't know what to do there. So I went for a copycat bounce. That initial bounce is going to miss. Then I'm going to hit the Grumpig for no damage. It's not a physical set, but I was kind of hoping for a paralyze, right? So Grumpig's going to go for a Zen Headbutt there on my mouse, and it's obviously going to fade the sub there. It's a physical Grumpig there. Grumpig can run special and physical sets. So Morsold's going to go for Echo Voice. I thought, you know what? I'm just going to build Echo Voice out. It has got body press, but I actually managed to lift that one. And I got a Potato Berry boost, which is going to be very, very helpful because I'm going to get that special attack boost and I'm going to get some health back too, which is going to be nice. Now, I've got another Echoed Voice here. I actually did think about going for Terra Normal. Maybe I should have in that case, but I didn't. And Grumpig had a berry too, and he was a Ganlon berry, so it boosts his defense by 1 stage. Zen Headbutt misses. Now, that was a tragic miss there. That was a very, very tragic miss because now I'm going to outspeed and Echo Voice is even more powerful. So that is the end of this little piggy. Now the next Pokemon here to come out is another Grumpig called Went to Market. So do you remember that This Little Piggy Went to Market rhyme? I heard it when I was I don't know, a year old or something like that. I might even give you guys the full rhyme in this video. It's going to be fire, right? So we got a Grumpig coming in. It's going to use Confuse Ray. So that's going to be good if I hit myself in confusion. That'll be bad, but it'll be bad if I don't get confused at all, So I'm not confused this turn, and Echo Voice is going to take out the next piggy. So that's going to be 2 piggies that went to market, right? Now we have got the 3rd piggy, but this is the piggy that stayed at home, So this one's staying at home. Well, at the moment it's staying at home. It might be going to market as well. So I got that next Echo Voice. This is on the 3rd Pokemon. And I don't get confused as well. And that one, wait, it had a focus sash. So this piggy, it stayed at home and it even was holding a focus sash. It was a very cautious piggy, Here comes the focus miss, and that is the end of the mouse. So the mouse, I don't know if you're going to take the mouse to market. I don't know, maybe I ate a block of cheese in a mouse trap or something. Anyway, we're going to bring an Arceus, and I couldn't help myself here, people. I had to feint the Grumpig with a Sticky Barb. So we're going to go for a trick here, and we're going to give the Grumpig a Sticky Barb, and we're going to get a Sticky Barb KO. Now, this is interesting. I'm not sure if anyone remembers this, but in one of my videos in Generation 7, and I'm pretty sure it's a Pokemon sweep, and I used a Pikachu, right? And I stalled a Mega Rayquaza out with a Pikachu, and it died solely to Sticky Barb from full health. I managed to stall out Mega Rayquaza with a Sticky Barb. I always remember that, that moment, right? Because it was so difficult to do, and with a Pikachu of all things as well. Because it's not bulky, it's not even going to take like not very effective hits well. But I wonder if anyone can remember what that video is. I doubt it. Our next Pokemon is Had None. So we got the full poem here for the little piggy, you know. So this one has got own tempo. I got no Yude, and here comes an Ice Punch. So it's another little one. So we'll do we'll bring up this little piggy poem here. We'll bring it up. I know you guys want to hear this so much, right? You want to hear me say it, right? I'll do the full poem when the last pig comes out, right? And you got to give me a 10 out of 10 for this, for the poem. I'll put some emphasis into it and stuff. So that is the end of the Grumpig there. That's 4 pigs down. Now we got wee home. Okay, wait. Yeah, wee all the way. Okay, I get it now. I get it. Are they in? I think they're in order. Anyway, so we got another trick here. I want to see what item we got here. This Arceus was good because it could steal items and then it could give away a Sticky Barb, and then at the very end I'd give them their item back and then I'd faint them and then I'd have the Sticky Barb for the next Pokemon. So Arceus is getting hit. No, it's got leftovers. I managed to steal leftovers. That was a pretty good item. Those sort of items I generally didn't want to give back. So the Grumpig is going to fate my Arceus, but man, that Morsol did a number on their team at the start. That took out like a lot of their team. So I'm going to bring in Persian. Now, as you know, this is the Nasty Plot sweeping set. So Snarl will do a lot of damage, but I'm going to need to increase my special attack, and I wanted to get some damage on this too. Grumpig actually has some good special, like a nice base special defensive stat too. So I got my special attack boost there. I got some Snarl damage. This is a Psybeam set. So it's like, oh, I see what they're trying to do. So they're trying to roll that low chance of confusion because Psybeam has a 10% chance, to do that. Like, only on Pineye Shadow will you see a Psybeam Grumpig, right? Here comes another Psybeam. It's a quality 4-hit KO against my Persian. I'm going to go for Swift here, and it doesn't quite take the wee pig out. Another Psybeam is not going to be good there, so I need to swiftly take out the Grumpig. I actually thought I'd be able to feint that, but I didn't. I needed another one. So the last pig here is Had Roast Beef. All right, I'm going to give you guys the full poem now. I know you're looking forward to it. All right, here we go. This is This Little Piggy by Mother Goose. I don't know what this is poetry, so I'm just reading off some poetry. So, okay, this little piggy went to market. This little piggy stayed home. This little piggy had roast beef. This little piggy had none. This little piggy went wee all the way home. All right, guys, what was that? That had to be a 10 out of 10, Had to be a 10 out of 10 score. If you had your, if you had, say, your younger kid there, did I entertain them with that poem, Or did I entertain you guys? Hopefully I did. Rate that out of 10. Give me a 10 out of 10 score for that poem. I think it was pretty good, pretty exciting, interesting way there to say that. All right, last Pokemon here we got is a Grumpig. I know this surprised you. It's going to be a Terra Psychic set here. Now, I didn't get to show you this Porygon Z last time. It just got its cheeks clapped. It was a Agility set. We got Agility Facade, Zen Headbutt, and Trick with the Toxic Orb. And the ability is Adaptability. 208 in health, 48 in speed, and 252 in attack. So I gave it only 48 speed EVs because I didn't need 252 there. It was a bit of a waste, so I gave the other 208 in health to give it some extra bulk at the start when it was using agility. And, if I was able to outspeed the Pokemon, like opposing Pokemon without agility, I wouldn't use it straight away and stuff. So we're going to finish off the other Grumpig with a Grumpig. I mean, it was quite appropriate. And that is the end of the Grumpig. It got turned into... I don't know, someone's dinner, I guess. Really cool team. I do love it when people use theme teams against me. It is really fun. Let's go on to our next battle. Pokemon battle number 4 here. This is pretty funny. So we get a random battle, and I figured they used their Galvantula as the lead. So I found it pretty interesting. They had Unnerve. I was like, okay, well, they don't have Compound Eyes on the Galvantula lead. So I then went to look what the moveset was, and it was a disaster. Look at this. So we got Sucker Punch, Slash, Discharge, and Struggle Bug. I'm like, oh no, that's a bit like I don't want to transform into that. That looks like a moveset that I would bring. So I swapped the Ditto out. It was a disaster, and I went into Porygon Z, right? So I figured they'd probably go for Discharge or maybe Struggle Bug. And they went for Struggle Bug. So the good thing is I was running a physical set, so I wasn't affected by that at all. So I wasn't sure what EVs are running or what they were even doing, and then they went for a Slash. So I was like, all right, that's cool. They still outsped me, though, and Facada's going to be enough to take out the Galvantula. So they had, I don't know, some sort of random mix Galvantula. Then they've got that, a freshly hacked Scarlet straight off Surprise Trade, I guess. And I don't have a lot to hit this with. I've got Zen Headbutt and I've got Trick. And I thought Trick might be all right, you know, to get around maybe a Sash or something. And then they went for Close Combat, so that's a problem there, because with 6 normal Pokemon, I was not liking the move Close Combat at all. That was a difficult thing about this. I mean, it probably isn't one of the... I'm not sure if I'm going to continue. Like, would you guys like me to continue a series like this? Would you like me to do all the types? Like, I'd say the types like Bug and Ice, they're going to be the more difficult ones to do, right? Normal's pretty good because you're really only weak to fighting and you can resist. I mean, Ghost doesn't even affect you, right? So I'm working around this. With the Phantom Force Arceus with no attack EVs, and it was enough to take it out there. Obviously, they didn't want to swap any Pokemon out. So now we got Roaring Moon coming in here. I can't do a lot to Roaring Moon except for Body Slam and Trick. So I thought, you know what? I'll be a nice person and I'll give them a present, right? I'll give them an early Christmas present. Then they went for a Draco Meteor. So like, oh, it's a special set. Interesting. So it's a special set. They've also got the Sticky Barb now, so they're going to be, you know, having some nice extra damage. So I've got Body Slam, and I've got, I pretty much reckon I can take them out in 2 hits. So Body Slam does a lot. It's another mix set, so they've got lots of mix sets there. So I guess they've got that mix Galvantula. Maybe they've got that mix Cerulege too, you know. So I'm going to go for Confused Ray here. I do want to, I was thinking to myself, what I want here is I want my item back, because I want to confuse them. If they hit themselves to confusion, or, you know, maybe on the last turn, then I can take the Sticky Bar back, and then I can trick it to the next Pokemon. So like, we're in range now, right? If it hits itself in confusion, it'll feign itself. So I thought, this might be a bit of a risky trolly play here, but I really want my Sticky Bar back. The problem also was, if that doesn't happen and they hit me with attack, and even if I lived, I will die to my own Sticky Barb. At this case, if I don't get hit by attack, I'll just live, right, with the Sticky Barb damage. They hit themselves in confusion and they faint themselves. I'm like, yes, I can use the Sticky Barb on the next Pokemon, which is cool. So that is the end of half their team so far. A very, very, very interesting team of movesets. Then they had a random Whiscash. I was like, what is going? Mate, I was like, maybe they went to pick a Dondozo out, and they actually picked it out of the wrong Pokemon. You know, they mixed up Whiscash and Dondozo. So Dondozo is gonna far out. Whiscash, I did it to myself, damn it. Whiscash, I'm gonna get cooked so hard for that, is gonna set up the spikes, right? It's like when I do my Nuzlocke and stuff, like I'll catch a Dustox and then people will like, oh yeah, nickname it Venomoth, and then I'll start calling it Venomoth. So I managed to get a Body Slam on Whiscash, which is good, and it's gonna set up spikes against me. So interesting. They've got them spikes up there. I don't know how Whiscash actually uses. I guess it's a catfish. They have spines on them and stuff like that. So I guess that's why it learns spikes. Anyway, that's the end of my Arceus. I had some good fun with that. We're going to bring in the Morsel now. I thought this would be a good time to try and set up the Echoed Voice and see if we can close out this battle. I did actually think about going for spikes myself, but I thought this is too good an opportunity not to go for Echoed Voice. So the other move they got is Scummy Water, and that doesn't do a lot of damage. I was a little bit worried about an accuracy drop, but it didn't happen. So that's the end of Whiscash. Props to the opponent for bringing Whiscash. You don't get to see that very often. Then came the Kyogre. I was like, oh, this could be very problematic, like, especially if it's a water spout set. That's gonna be bad, you know. And if they terror it, you know, and then the moment I was thinking about that, I'm like, okay, they're probably gonna have that set, or they're gonna have some sort of water type move. You know, you never knew so far because like of some of the moves they used, it was completely random. So I was like, all right, here it comes. So I went for the Echoed Voice. At least it wasn't Scarfed. I outsped it, and they used Ancient Power. I was like, what the heck? And you wouldn't read about it. They got one on the first boost. I'm like, oh no. You know, even if they were running in the most crappiest, non-properly EV set in the world, this was gonna hurt, right? This is like, whatever way you looked at it, it was gonna hurt. So Morsalt did get a Potato Berry boost there, which is good, but I was thinking to myself, Kyogre's got some big special defense, and they just received an Omni boost, right? So my Echoed Voice is not even going to scratch the surface. I would need like a critical. I don't even know if a critical hit would take this thing out. So there we go. There's it. Yeah, it would have. A crit would have taken it out, but you know that's the end of my Morsalt. They use Hydro Pump instead. So I mean, Hydro Pump's no joke, but like, you know, it has like Water Spout and Origin Pulse, but it uses Hydro Pump. So I found that pretty funny. Or at least I'll give this person their props there. They're using them. They're using them sets. So I'm taking Spike's damage too. They're trying to go for that late game Hydro Pump Kyogre sweep. I see what they're trying to do there. So I was worried about getting swept by a Hydro Pump Kyogre. I really was. So I tried to go for Protect there to stall the rain out, because at least that would power down Hydro Pump. So Regigigas is pretty bulky. As mentioned, I was running actually, no, this wasn't a bulky set. It's got some good overall bulk to it, right? They missed Hydro Pump, which is really, really good. Now, Crush Grip wasn't going to do enough, and Terra Blast, well, yeah, you got to see Terra Blast damage. So with the Ancient Power and its high base special defense, it really wasn't looking good for me right now, because all I had was a Ditto left. I thought, gee, at worst case scenario, I could go into Ditto, but you know they might have Thunder on there. I mean, you think they'd have Thunder on there, and then I'd have to, it's not Choice Scarf, it's Quick Claw, right? So I might lose the speed tie. So I was getting a little bit worried here. So they landed the Hydro Pump like, this is going to do a lot of damage, right? It's going to do, that just drops it. So Regigigas is down without the rain. Ah, just banged my finger on the table. Oh my God, that hurt. It was right on the end. Sorry, God. I did it right in the middle of my narration. Far out. Like right on the end of the nail. Oh, all right, it's fine. I've got a shiny Kyogre. What could possibly go wrong? So unfortunately, I had to restart the rain up, and I looked at their moves and I'm like, okay, it can't do anything. So I've got Terra Normal, which is going to do virtually nothing, and I was thinking, well, I just got to go for Origin Pulse here. So they went for Ancient Power, didn't get a boost, and then Origin Pulse misses. I'm like, are you serious? Now I was like, okay, please Quick Claw. So Quick Claw activated, which is really good. And we landed that Origin Pulse. So that could have been a lot worse than that. It was looking pretty bad there, I'm not going to lie. So we got one more Pokemon left. And I've got a Kyogre. So things are looking pretty swimmingly right now. Last Pokemon's going to be that Lunala. So I've got Origin Pulse. I was thinking I could go Terra Normal here as well, just to get around its Ghost type move, because I'm sure it's going to use Moongeist Beam. That could be a good idea. But I do have a Persian in the back with Snarl too. So I was like, let's see if we can get a salty Rage Quit here. So I went for the Terra Normal for absolutely no reason outside of them going for Moongeist Beam. No other reason. And you know, we're running a mono normal. What the fuck? Wait, what was that anime? I got to see Lunala's. Actually, I don't want to say that. Anyway, so it's gonna go for a Phantom Force. I'm like, what? It's a ghost move, I guess. So I did a swap out of Kyogre and I went back into Persian, right? Because Persian is a normal type, and I've also got Snarl on there. I don't know what that camera angle was. I don't know what was going on there. So anyway, I take a bit of Spike's damage. Phantom Force is not going to affect me, and I've also got Snarl, which is going to be super duper effective against that. And that is the end of the Lunala. And that is also the end of the battle too. And you know what? The random opponent, they didn't DC there. So GG's. And, you know, they had some pretty... I'll give them props for some unusual sets there. Let's get on to our next battle. We've got 6 battles today. This is Battle 5. We have a battle against Super Bowser, and we have a mono a mono team versus a mono team. So a mono normal team, which is pretty cool. So I was interested to see what Pokemon they would come up with. So we got a Smeargle lead here, and it's going to be a Destiny Bond lead. It's like, okay. This is going to be a bit of a problem. But I knew my second echoed voice wouldn't faint Smeargle. I was like, maybe the third one will, or might be able to work around something with Copycat. So Smeargle then uses Bolt Strike. Like, oh, I can go Copycat and finish it off with Bolt Strike, right? But then I got paralyzed. Like, oh, come on. So I got paralyzed. That's the second time Bolt Strike's been used in this video. So I got Mud Slap and I Copycat. I'm like, all right, I'll go Copycat because I know they're going to go for Destiny Bomb this turn. So that's obviously not going to work, but it'll stop me from fainting them. So Copycat doesn't work in that instance. Then the Smeargle went for an Endure there. I was like, oh, okay. And then I got paralyzed. That turn I actually went for an echoed voice, but it failed. So now we got Smeargle going for a Bolt Strike again, and it's not doing a lot of damage, but it is a troll set, right? I managed to get a Copycat off here, and here we go. Bolt Strike more sold, only on PIMPNITE Shadow. I couldn't even see the mouse family. I think they, I don't know, they turned into lightning there. It was too quick. So that is the end of our Smeargle. Absolutely broken set there. Next Pokemon's going to be Persian. I'm kind of wondering if there's any mono Pokemon out there that I'll have struggled to fill a team of 6 with. I mean, like, the more obscure ones. Is there enough mono flying Pokemon? Because you know there's not many of them. So that's something that might be a really good challenge, you know, using those moves and stuff like that in Pokemon. So that is the end of More Sold. Persian also has a Life Orb too, I can see that. So I was thinking here, I want to get rid of that Life Orb. I also want to give them Sticky Barb as well. And I thought Life Orb may work for Arceus because Body Slam will probably do a little bit more damage there, and they've also got a very bulky Pokemon too. So actually they had a couple of them too. So Persian's going to use Play Rough. I guess they tried to drop my attack there, and I've got the Sticky Barb going on Persian. The good thing is Sticky Barb can't come back to me, right? Because I've got a non-consumable item. So that's going to be the end of the Persian there, especially with that extra Life Orb damage. I think it would have just lived there, but not with a Life Orb. So that's the end of Smeargle and Persian. Next Pokemon is an Arceus too. So it's an Arceus versus Arceus battle. Now, I've got no idea what their set's going to be, but I'm going to try and paralyze them. So I lost a little bit of health there, and it's going to use Judgment. So it's a special set, right? But I'm able to live that one. And judging on the damage that it did there, it's got no special attack EVs at all. So then it turned out to be a mix set with Brick Break. So it won the speed tie. I was like, oh, come on. So it looks like we both are running a non-speedy set, of like that sort of thing, right? So I thought, all right, we're going to go into Regigigas, the GOAT. And Regigigas is the mix set. Then we had Arceus swapping out. I'm like, I know what's coming in here. Because they also had a Regigigas. I thought, this is going to be risky, right? Because we've both got slow start. And I don't know if we're going to be able to feign each other in 5 turns. And that'd be, I don't know what sort of set this is going to be. It could be a physical set too. Or it could be mixed. I have no idea. So we've got leftovers on Regigigas. And I thought, well, I'm going to try and feint this thing. Because I'm sure it's a better set than what I've got. And then they use Hammer Arm. Like, oh no, that's bad. That's very bad because I've got a normal type team. So I thought, what I need to do here, I'm never probably going to be able to feint them in time. Because I'd say they probably have Protect too. But I was thinking, then they use Protect. Like, okay, what I've got to do here is I've got to hit them with a non-slow start Crush Grip. And for me to do the most damage I possibly can do to them is I need them to have as much health as possible, right? So I need their leftovers to heal them up, and then I hit them as much damage. So they've also got Crush Grip too. We've both got Crush Grip. So I get my act together. Then they use Protect. So only on PIMPNITE channel, people, we've got 2 Regigigas at the same time getting their act together. Oh, so someone was going to get hurt here, I could tell you that. So we've got them Regigigas getting their act. Here comes the Crush Grip. Good damage there. I tried to grab those little trees on top of its head and it didn't work, right? It wasn't enough damage. Now, the other Regigigas had Hammer Arm. That wasn't enough to take me out. But, of course, you know, either one of my moves wasn't either like Terra Blast or Crush Grip wasn't. I guess the thing about slow start is the special attack is not affected, which is, you know, why I like to use that sometimes for fun. All right, we're going to bring in Porygon Z. Since it did use a Hammer Arm, I know that it can outspeed it. And normal Facade, with adaptability, we'll be able to take Reggie out, which will be fine. So that's down. I've got my Toxic Orb activated now, which is good too. Next Pokemon is going to be Arceus. So I thought, I could go for a Zen Headbutt here and feint it, or just go for Facade. So they're going to use Judgment. That did a lot of damage there. Wait, this also has Life Orb. I just noticed that. So that's another Life Orb Pokemon. So I went for Agility. I was pretty certain that didn't have extreme speed, or I was going to find out pretty quick if it did. And then I was thinking, maybe I should go for a Trick here. Will it even feint it? But I was like, nah, I'll go for Facade, right? Then in came a Ditto. I'm like, oh, that's going to be really bad for Porygon, because I'm going to use Facade here, and it's going to be full base power. Ditto gets dropped in one shot, so that's really, really good. So I got rid of a Ditto. You know, Ditto's like a scummy Pokemon, right? Especially if I ever set up Pokemon, because it'll just come in and copy your stats. It's such a good Pokemon for that. And it can be used on, you know, competitive really well. So I'm going to feint here to the Toxic Orb damage too, but at least I took out a Ditto and, you know, the rest of the Arceus, right? Last Pokemon's going to be Garchomp. I'm like, wait, this ain't a normal type Pokemon. I thought, all right, it's got to be a Terra Normal Garchomp. You know, it has to be, right? So I've got Hypnosis. Now, Garchomp is going to be able to live Swift. I know that. And it might, I'm thinking it's going to be able to live a nasty Plot Swift too. So I thought my best bet to take this out would be go for Hypnosis, but I've got to land the Hypnosis too. So here comes the Terra Normal Garchomp. I outspeed with Hypnosis. So I thought this might be a rare opportunity to send in my Ditto and see what this Garchomp set actually is. And that might allow me to feint it with Persian later on if I can. So swapping it out, going to Ditto, which is cool. I wanted to see what this moveset was going to be. I'm sure there's a normal type move on there. There has to be, right? So I'm looking at that. I'm looking through the moveset. Then it wakes up. I'm like, oh no. And then it used Tackle. I was like, wait, did it miss? But it didn't. It's got a normal gem. So it's a fully mono normal gem Tackle Garchomp. Is that its only move? It's like, what is this? So Ditto's rough skin, you know how rough it is, right? And then I looked at the moveset. We got Tackle, Takedown, Terra Blast, and Thrash. So I couldn't, like, I looked, like, I was thinking about it. So I'm like, well, Thrash isn't going to feint it. And I couldn't help myself. I had to go for the Terra Normal here, the Terra Normal Tackle. I couldn't help myself. I have to go for it, right? Now, unfortunately for me, I don't have the assistance of a normal gem, but I've got that Terra Normal, so it should do all right. So here it comes, good damage, that's quality. So we got some Garchomp's rough skin now, and then Garchomp's going to use Thrash. I'm like, all right, this is okay. It is in range for a Persian to take out with Swift. I'm thinking it should be, unless it's like max health or some weird EVs like that. Then I'm thinking to myself, maybe I should have used Thrash there. I mean, Thrash wouldn't have feinted it regardless. So then I'm thinking here, I might have to actually go for Hypnosis, because Terra Normal Thrash will probably take out Persian. So I land the Hypnosis on the Garchomp, and it's sleeping. Because I feel like if I went for Swift there, it might have just lived, and then I died to Thrash. I'd be really salty if that happened, right? So I did take a bit of a risk. So I'm going to go for the nasty plot here, why the Garchomp is sleeping, and now I know that I'm definitely going to be able to feint it with the Swift, right? So Garchomp is remaining sleeping this turn, and I can finish it off with the Swift there. Would Swift have taken it out the first turn? I'm not 100% sure. I wasn't sure if it had, like, you know, bulk in its health or anything like that, or special events, you never know. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed that mono normal team versus mono normal team. That was pretty fun. Last battle against is against Quincy. This one was on the Poké Portal too. This is a pretty interesting battle too. So we got a Como lead here. It's got that pink, and that is such a, I feel like that's a shiny that you either love or hate. It's sort of like Weavile shiny, that, you know, that real bright yellow and that bright pink on there too. I don't know if I like pink and yellow shinies there. It's a really sort of busy color to put together. Anyway, we've got a boost there on the Como side. I totally never saw that one coming. And I thought to myself, if I use my Ditto, I can bring it in, and if I give him a Sticky Barb too, that could be handy if they try and go for Substitute, which they didn't. I don't know whether they've got Substitute though, but I thought that could be a good play. So I went for the Body Slam there. That does some alright damage, and they're going to go for close combat, as expected, you know. So Arceus is going to get one-shotted. Oh, look, I could have gone for a Body Slam there, but it may not have made a difference. And now I did Body Slam damage to them, and I've got Sticky Barb on there too. So that is eventually going to faint. and I don't think it's got Drain. I was really worried about Drain Punch there, so I don't think they've got it. They wouldn't use Close Combat and Drain Punch, but you know, you never know. You never know what people use. So I'm going to swap into Ditto, and let's see what this moveset is. So first things first, I use Protect, because they had Protect on this moveset. So they had all the same moves. They had Clanging Scales and Protect. I thought, well, that's a good idea to stall this Sticky Barb out a little bit. So I thought, well, maybe in this matchup, they might go for a Dragon type move here instead of going for Close Combat, because I'm not a normal type anymore, right? So I was like, all right, we'll do a swap. We'll go into Regigigas. I'm sure that I can live, Clanging Scales. That was the other move that I had on there. So they're going to go for that Clanging Scales. That does a lot of damage. It does a heaps of damage, but I'm able to live that one, and I don't sack my Ditto, and I didn't sack my Regigigas either. So that worked out pretty well thanks to Arceus's Sticky Barb there. So that's a threat god. Now the next one's going to be Espartha. Now when you see Espartha, it commonly runs the Speed Boost, Protect, Stored Power set. So I thought this isn't a very good matchup, because Espartha typically will run max health and max defense, and let Calm Mind and Speed Boost do the rest of the work. So I swapped into Porygon Z in hopes they'd go for Protect, and then they went for Lumina Crash. I was like, that sucks. So Lumina Crash harshly drops the special defense. And I wasn't very sure whether I'd outspeed. You know, I didn't have many speed EVs on Porygon Z. I've only got 48. I don't think it'll outspeed. I had to keep it in though, and I went for the Sard, almost took it out, but they had a Sash on it. So I was like, all right, fair enough. And I was like, wait, no, it wasn't a Sash. That was my initial thought. So they got a Sash, but it was a red card. I'm like, what? Why would you use red card and Lumina Crash, right? Because Lumina, the beauty of Lumina Crash is you drop the special defense, but if you swap them out, you lose that advantage. So I have no idea in the Herba Mystical what they were doing with that set at all. So now they're going to go for Lumina Crash on Regigigas and Fainted. There wasn't a lot I could do to get around that. I thought at least I could swap my Porygon in or another fast Pokemon, you know, to try and finish them off there. So I thought this would be a prime opportunity to go for Copycat Lumina Crash. I was going to go for Echoed Voice there, but I couldn't help myself, so I wanted to use that move. So that's the end of Espartha. Next Pokemon's going to be Delphox. So Delphox does have the Blaze, and it's also got Magician ability, so I was a bit worried that I might lose my Potato Berry here. So I was like, okay, first thing I'm going to do is go for Copycat Lumina Crash. Let's drop its special defense, and then I can go for Echoed Voice, and we'll see what ability it's got. So they're going to go for Mystical Fire. It's like, that's the worst thing they could have done. So they dropped my special attack, and they stole my Potato Berry. I'm like, this is a disaster. So all I've got left is Copycat, and I'm not going to be able to beat them with Echoed Voice. I've already accepted that. So I was like, let's see if I can cause them as much problems they caused me. So I went for Mystical Fire and dropped their special attack. So I thought, at worst, they'll probably swap here. So now they're going to use Psychic. So Psychic's not going to faint me, but I don't have a berry to use anymore, which sucks very, very much. So I've got Mud Slap, and Mud Slap is my best move to use against them in this stage. I thought I can drop their accuracy. I might be able to set up against them. That didn't work because Mud Slap only dropped dropped it by one stage. So more Solid's down, so it didn't really get much use there. I got a little bit countered. So we're going to go back into Porygon Z. Now, Porygon Z will not outspeed Delphox. Absolutely not. But I thought with that special attack drop from Mystical Fire, and it's not really a super duper powerful move, I should be able to, feint this and live this reasonably well. So Delphox is down. So we've taken half the team out. Things are going all right. Then this is where things went strange and escalated, right? So I was like, all right, they're going to use Population Bomb. This is bad. This is really, really bad. So they use it, and I'm like, that's not really doing as much damage. Like, why is that doing so little damage? Like, okay, well, I'm just going to chalk it down to my health EVs I put in there, right? But I was wrong, right? So I went to Ditto. I wanted to inspect what their set was. So this had an interesting set, right? On the surface, it looked fine. So Population Bomb, Play Rough and Bullet scene. Like, oh, okay, so it's just a Technician set with Tidy Up, fair enough. So I'm going for Population Bomb here. I'm hitting real hard, and I only got 2 hits. I'm like, that sucks. That's really unlucky. Then they went for Population Bomb, and they critted me on the first one. I'm like, this is not doing very much damage. Then they got 2 hits. I'm like, what? I smell a rat, right? What's going on here? Is this is this not technician? Like, what is this? So now I'm like, all right, I'm just going to pound them with population bomb. I got to get some damage in. Then I got another 2 hits. I'm like, oh, come on. So then they're going to use population bomb here. They're using it. And then they got another 2 hits. I'm like, what is going on here? So now I'm going for the same moves. Like, surely one of us has to land a normal human being amount of hits, right? So then I seen they had a barrier. I'm like, don't you dare have cheek pouch. And it did. It had cheek pouch. I'm like, what the heck is this set? So it's not often you get to see a cheek pouch more sold there. So that was really cool. So I laughed a lot there. So I managed to hit them with a full load there at last, you know. I can't believe that. I don't know, any real maths people out there. What are the chances of me hitting 2 hits in a row and them hitting 2 hits in a row consecutively? Like, that was 4 in a row. I hit 2, they hit 2, I hit 2, they hit. That must be a very, very low chance of that happening, because it has pretty damn good accuracy on there. Was it 95? So, man, that's crazy. Anyway, so Morsol's got to swap out there. If anyone wants to do that mathematic calculation in the chat, that'll be interesting to read that. I'm not going to pretend for a second that I know how to do that. Income percentage-wise, it's a ghost type. Obviously, I can't do much, but I was stuck in a bit of a hard place here because I was like, I don't really want to swap out because this set's reasonable and I've got one more Pokemon left. So they're going to fake me with Leaf Blade. I'm like, all right, this is fine. I've got my Persian. I'll put them to sleep and I'll set up and I'll take them out with Snarl. And their last Pokemon wasn't very powerful either. So Hypnosis missed there. Like, that really, really sucks. Then they went for a Pluck. So Pluck didn't do much. And Hypnosis misses a second time. I was like, oh no. And then they fainted me at Leaf Blade. So I'm like, oh, Persian, come on, you're going to get released. Anyway, that is the end of the battle. If you enjoyed the video, hit that like button. And catch you next time. Peace.